Hey clan, welcome to part 2 of Ask the Warrior. I do apologise for the slight delay on it. As you can tell, I'm wearing a different t-shirt, my hair's different. This is like a day or two after I recorded the first one. Unfortunately, just something happened, something came up that basically I had to stop recording part 2, and then it made no sense to actually continue it. I only have a few questions left for part 2, so this will probably be relatively. I didn't get any Twitter questions. But first, I got to address a little something quickly about Dixie Larson. You submitted 3 questions, and most of the questions are questions that I am going to cover in a later date in a video. So I will not be answering your questions, so hopefully you'll understand why. Plus, one of your questions was less a question and more of a statement of fact. Or a statement of your opinion. It's hard to tell right now. But I will be covering the topic that you asked in your questions at a later date. I just can't promise when. I will cover them, do not worry about it. But without further ado, let's move on to the last set of questions. The next set of questions comes from a lovely Graham Cornyn. First question. If all the Mass Effect squad mates throughout all of the games fought in a battle royale to the death, who would come out as the victor? Shepard isn't included. That's a tough one. If we're talking pure combat battle royale, that's probably going to go to one of the combat specialists, i.e. probably Samara, Rex, maybe Grunt, but Grunt's a bit too impatient, and I think he would probably be not one of the first to go, but probably about the halfway mark. But at the same time, Ashley is a great fighter. She definitely has the combat specs to do that. It's a real tough one. Tali, unfortunately, I think she would probably be taking it quite quickly, just because if it's just a fear factor that I think she wouldn't last too long. Liara, if we're talking Mass Effect 2, 3 Liara, she would definitely last a while. Really, there's too many factors to take into consideration, because really it comes down to where they are. What time frame are we talking about? Is this like at the end of the series, at the start of the series? Because in all, if it's the start of the series, then the answer is Rex. But throughout the entire series, that's a really, really tough one in my opinion. It's really difficult to say which ones would win. It all comes down to just putting them in the battle royale is just too vague. Firstly, you have to take into consideration what weapons they have, their skills, their abilities, where they would be put. Would they just be put in a random planet? If they were put on Tuchanka, then Rex or Grunt would win. If they put on Thessia, then one of the Asaris would win. Samara or Liara. There's too many variables to take into consideration, in all honesty, to answer that question. I'm pretty sure most of us have had this debate one. Who would win the fight, Grunt or Rex? The answer is Rex, because... Sorry, Rex. Who would win the fight, Liara or Samara, in my opinion? Samara would win. There's too many factors to take into consideration. You would have to run a whole algorithm. I could literally probably have a debate, in all honesty. Maybe one day in the future I'll get some people on in like a little round table or Skype chat where we'll make a video where we just talk about various BioWare related battles or something, like Morgan versus Samara or that kind of thing. Maybe we'll do something like that in the future down the line, but right now that's too broad of a question for me to answer. I'm sorry, but there's a lot of factors to take into consideration. But I hope I sort of answered your question. Next question comes from... Sorry, your next question, Graham, is what are you most excited about in the new Mass Effect? Really, right now, just the fact that there is going to be another Mass Effect, and the prospect that we're going into another galaxy. Really, this is a new start for BioWare with Mass Effect. The trilogy of Mass Effect has been done. Now we're moving on to something different. I'm kind of pleased that they're taking the route, of course, Andromeda, and not just in Mass Effect 4. Really, we don't know much at this point, and I just kind of want to wait until we hear more news. I get this question daily, so yeah, I'm waiting for more news. And just to reiterate, to the people who do send me questions, I don't work for BioWare. They don't tell me crap. So yeah, I don't know the answers to the questions that you constantly ask me. I may not get as many like AMD, Ability, and Insanity, but I'm pretty sure none of us work for BioWare and know the secrets, because BioWare are very tight-lipped. So yeah, I don't know the answer to the questions I get on a daily basis. Third question is, what are some of the most emotional moments you've experienced in video games? Of course, I'd be a bad person if I didn't say Mordin Solus, Mass Effect 3, of course. You know the scene I'm talking about on Tuchanka. That scene had me bawling my eyes out. Witcher 3, there are videos on my channel of me crying at several scenes in the game. Like, if you want to see, there's live footage of it, just go on my channel, find my Witcher 3 Random Spouts Warrior's Journey, and you'll see my emotional reaction to there. There's footage of that. Let's see, I'm trying to think of, there's of course various other ones, like those Brothers, A Tale of Two Sons. If you watch my playthrough of that and see the end of that, you know that I bawled my eyes out. It's one of the very few games that I have openly wept at. And just thinking about it making me kind of go teary-eyed because of the fact that I am a brother. So if you want to see my reactions, Graham, if you haven't already, definitely go check out those videos. You'll see me bawling my eyes out. But not just of course bawling my eyes out, like strong emotional feelings. There's of course the feelings of retribution, anger, happiness, those kind of things. Of course, Mass Effect's the big one for that. Especially at the end of Mass Effect 2 when the Reapers were coming. That emotion made me go, oh yeah, I'm gonna kick your fucking assholes. I'm gonna kick your ass, Reapers. That got me pumped. Dragon Age, of course, like Dragon Age Inquisition, Dragon Age Origins. After all our hard work, after all the shit we went through, that emotional hype that I felt at the end of Dragon Age Origins, going into the final battle against the Archdemon, that made me. That is one of the games at the end that just made me go, yeah, I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna kick freaking arse. I wish I'd been recording that. Just that sense of rage and also finality that I had at the end of that game. I really do wish I was recording that, because that would have been one hell of an experience to share with you. Then of course one big one is Jade Empire. Spoiler alert for Jade Empire if you haven't played it, which I highly recommend you do play it, by the way. The moment when I found out, you all know the scene if you've played Jade Empire, when it turns out that Master Li had been playing you all along. That moment when he just literally tossed that gem into the sky and then says, including the flaws, and then bam, 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 right to you, killing your character like that. Like, that to me was something that just was like, that was one of my first ever what the fuck moments in video games. Like, that moment just made me go, what the fuck? Like, I literally thought I was at the end of the game at that point, and then boom, Master Li kills me. That moment, that is one of the moments that just made me go, what? And that is the point in life also that I realised, okay, let's expect the unexpected. So that's why, like, when Game of Thrones eventually came out, the whole way what happened with Ned, that didn't surprise me. I was just like, he's gonna die. Spoiler alert. But yeah, that Jade Empire is probably the one that means the most to me, just because of the fact that is what kind of made me realise that you have to expect the unexpected when it comes to any kind of fiction, and I absolutely loved that. That just made me go, what the fuck? And then the whole that getting vengeance also worked. Of course, the Arkham series as well, that definitely gave me some strong emotional things, just because of the fact that I love the Batman character that much. Just because of the Batman animated series. There are a lot. There's really a lot, but I felt a lot of emotions. The Witcher series, Witcher 3 especially. Oh, excuse me. Definitely gave me a lot of different feelings when I was playing through it. Various feelings of dread, happiness, joy, feeling and concern, friendship, companionship, love, hatred, and of course sadness as well, as my videos have showed. But that is one game that I think I felt almost every emotion I've ever felt in my life. And that's just a testament to how well CD Projekt Red made games. Of course, BioWare games as well. I'm just trying to think of other games, and honestly, that aren't BioWare and CD Projekt Red. I'm just looking through my collection right now. Fable 2 did give me a bit of an emotional reaction, mostly with the dog. That Fable 2 is my personal favourite of the Fable franchise. Fable 3 can... but Fable 2 was one of those games that... the way it was done with the dog, especially because I'm a dog person, it just made me very happy. Kingdom Hearts as well gave me some emotional feeling, maybe not as much as everyone else. Mostly due to the fact that I love Disney. I make it no secret that I love Disney movies, Disney music. It's one of my. I grew up with Disney. It's that simple, and I definitely feel that game gave me some emotion, mostly with the interaction of my favorite characters. Of course, the genie being one of my favorite characters. Rest in peace, Robin. Um, that game definitely gave me some. And of course, there's KOTOR, Knights of the Old Republic. That game, that was an emotional trek and a half, especially with the reveal at the end where it turns out your character's Revan. I didn't complete KOTOR 2, I'll be honest, so I can't really say much on that. If anyone's wondering, I do have it. Still need to play SWTOR. But there are a lot of games, and there will be many more games that will give me emotional reactions. If you're talking about a recent game as well, Mad Max. While overall the game didn't give me any emotional feeling, there is one scene towards the end that definitely gave me a bit of a oh fuck. And if you've played the game, you know I'm good. I'm not going to spoil it for anyone, but that game gave me one hell of a little bit of unexpected feelings. But it's still a meh game if you ask me. But that's just me. I hope that answered your question. I went on a bit longer than I had planned, but yeah, there's been plenty of games that have given me one hell of an emotional experience. Fourth question from Graham is, who would win in a drinking contest, Ireland or Scotland? And a little colon and P. You know the colon P, that I don't drink alcohol, for those that don't know. I'm not straight edge. I don't drink, don't smoke, and I only take drugs that are supplied by doctors, or the standard painkillers, or the usual multivitamins. So I'm not the best judge on when it comes to alcohol drinking contests. If we're talking like a fizzy juice drinking contest, it's tough to say, but I know Scots can handle the drink, but Ireland, you got Guinness. So I don't know, I'd probably have to give that one to Ireland if I'm going to be honest. I don't drink alcohol, so I have no... It also, it's kind of like the Mass Effect question you asked. Like, there's a lot of factors to take into consideration. Are we talking just pure beer, like Guinness, lagers, those kind of things? Or are we talking shots? There's a lot of factors to take into consideration. If we're talking shots, I think Scotland might win. If we're talking just pure Guinness and alcohol, like, pints, if we're just talking pint after pint after pint after pint, Ireland made Guinness. There's no if buts or what's about. They would wipe the floor with Scotland when it comes to that. But if we're talking shots or various mixtures of drinks, cocktails, spirits, those kind of things, that's a real consideration you have to take into consideration when it comes to that. But yeah, you be more specific next time with your question. But general drinking contest, probably Ireland would win. And the last questions. Is there any other video game villains or force as threatening as the Reapers? Borg? Like, do we even need to say much? The Borg are probably the most threatening villains in all of fiction. Along with, like, the Zerg and... the Zerg, of course, I might not be a big StarCraft fan, but I do know the Zerg are pretty tough. Any kind of force that is basically most people don't have a chance again unless you really freaking are, like Borg, Reapers, the Darkspawn to an extent, but it says they can be beaten. The Reapers are such an astronomical threat. The fact that they are basically like city-sized, not city-sized, skyscraper-sized beings, if not bigger, that could destroy entire civilizations as much as breathing. And of course the indoctrination thing. It's just they are a very powerful threat. But as it goes, there's the Borg, which are basically like the Reapers in a way. The Borg repurpose organic life and assimilate things. The Reapers do something similar, which I think is no coincidence. I'm pretty sure there are a few Star Trek fans in the BioWare employ. I do know at least I know of at least one, and you know who you are. But yeah, there's the Borg. They're probably an equal threat to the Reapers. If not, they could probably beat the Reapers if I'm going to be honest. Video games specifically is a tough one. There's the Zerg, of course. I'm just trying to think of other video game ones. There's probably a few. As I said, I haven't played every single game in all of the world, so I can't say for certain. But the Reapers are a big threat. But that's not much to say. Other than that, I think that's all your questions, Graham. I hope I answered them to the best of my ability in this set of questions. And the last set of questions comes from Arcus. First question: if you play a game that has excellent gameplay, excellent dude, but little to no story, are you going to be motivated enough to finish it? No. It's that simple. Like, I'm a story gamer. A game could have the best gameplay ever. Like, I mean, perfect controls, perfect movements, perfect everything across the spectrum when it comes to gameplay specifically. But if it has little to no story, I have very little interest in beating it. I will probably still beat it, but I'll probably play it for a little while, put it down, go play something else, then come back to it eventually. I'm a story gamer, so that's just me in a nutshell. I like story over gameplay and everything else. Don't get me wrong, I do like good gameplay. As is Mad Max, for example, has really good gameplay. Story shit. It's that simple. But I still beat it. I just didn't care about the story until a certain point. But yeah, story is a major factor for me. If I don't feel compelled to complete the game story-wise, there's very little for me to do. Like Witcher, for example, the reason I did all the side quests, did all of the contracts, collected all the Gwent cards, interacted with so many NPCs was for the fact that I wanted to play The Witcher. I wanted to be Geralt of Rivia. I wanted to help people. I wanted to complete contracts. I wanted to ensure that people were safe, because that is what a Witcher does. And then the story on top of that. So the story compelled me to do the side stuff. So yeah, story is a major factor for me. I have to have a good story. It's that simple. It can be a stupid story as well. I will not be like, I'm trying to think of a game that has a freaking horrendously stupid story, but I still completed it. Saints Row, good example. The Saints Row series has ridiculous stories and premises, like a gangster becoming president of the United States of America. That was freaking awesome. But yeah, that's it in a nutshell. I like story. If there's not much story to it, I feel less inclined to complete it. Like Dragon Age, for example, I put hundreds of hours in that series. 2. Name some games that you've bought because of their great reviews and ended up being huge disappointments. This could be a long list. Resident Evil 5 for one. I do know that game was critically acclaimed. Not critically acclaimed, but very well reviewed, and I picked it up, and it was not a huge disappointment. I did beat it, but it just was like, not as good as everyone's saying it in. I'm just having a look. Assassin's Creed 3, massive disappointment with the story-wise with that. Fable 3, don't even need to say. I still got it, or did I put it away? I've recently cleared all my games and put them in the boxes where my mic is right now. Final Fantasy 13 2, doi. Guild Wars, Guild Wars 2 wasn't just that disappointing. Beyond Two Souls, like that freaking game got so much critical fucking acclaim, and it's a pile of fucking shite. Horrible story, horrible story in general, like not that good. I love Ellen Page. I absolutely love her as an actress and as a person. But yeah, no, that game's story is freaking horrendous. In fact, Ellen Page is pretty much the only reason I picked up that game. So I kind of guess they got me with the marketing. Ellen, definitely want that one. Beyond Two Souls was just there. I'm just looking at my collection. Halo DST, do I even need to say that? There have been plenty, but normally I just put them out of my mind. Like, if I'm just like, that was freaking shit. That's why I don't pay attention to reviews anymore. I go to people whose opinions I trust. Like Total Biscuit, who does first impressions on various games. Arsene Gaia, or Loron as he's known now. I'm just trying to think. Angry Joe, of course, is one of my major ones for reviews. I go to people whose opinions I trust. Of course, there's my friends like AMD, Ability, Insanity, and a few others off whose names I'm blanking on, whose opinions I respect, and they can sell me on a game. I like AMD, for example. I was never big into the Gears of War franchise, but give me one moment. She suggested to me to go pick up Gears of War 3. Now, if you wonder why I got this edition, which is the limited edition, I went and traded in a whole bunch of games, and I got this for free, basically. Like, I traded in a bunch of games I was never going to play again, got £30, and this was £30, so I got this, and yeah, she made me pick this up, and I actually really liked it. I was surprised that I liked it as much, so much so that I am considering picking up the other games, Gears of War games for Xbox One when I eventually get one. But yeah, there's been a few, just, I put them at the back of my mind. It's that simple. Final question from Arcus is, do you believe the next Dragon Age game should be the last and the concluding chapter of the DA series? Depends what BioWare want to do. I don't want the Dragon Age universe to end. Like, I want them to continue this universe and tell more stories in it. But as of an end of the DA series, I don't think it will be personally, but that's completely up to BioWare what they want to do. They've done the way they've done the Dragon Age series. Each game is its own story in the universe. They could easily continue that for years. I don't want it to end, but on that, I think that's pretty much all I've got to say on the factor. That's the last of the questions. I hope I answered them to the best of my ability. I don't think there's much else to say on thank you all for those who submitted the questions. I do apologise for the delay in the questions. I will try and do a better job next time. I think that's pretty much everything. There is one last thing I do want to give a little shout out for. I need to get her card quickly. I want to give a little shout out to... I need to get the thing out of the box. I'm actually using this. I'll show you in a minute. To other names were taken. The Etsy shop. Curiouser and Curiouser. This is it here. I recently entered a contest on her Facebook page, and I won this. Come to the dark side. I won this. I just wanted to give her a little shout out because it's Etsy. Go to Etsy and just look at other names were taken. I've just stuffed it full of like geeky stuff right now, but I won this contest and I won this box and it has little Star Wars things and all in it. This, by the way, this is the first thing I've ever really won in any kind of internet contest. So I'm very happy about this, but I wanted to at least give her a little shout out and say if you haven't checked out the page, I will leave a link to the store in the page in the description. But she does awesome wood and jewelry, wood art and jewelry. This is not a paid promotion by her. She's not paid me a dime. I just felt like this is freaking awesome and she deserves a shout out. So definitely go down there and check her Etsy page because she's awesome and I won this and it looks absolutely fantastic and I'm definitely going to be using this for my geeky memorabilia. I just wanted to give her a shout out. Other than that, I thank you for watching. Other than that, I hope you enjoyed this. Hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you all next time. Ciao for now.